Hi, and welcome to the sixth episode of the Growth Machines podcast. I'm your host, Vincent Jong, and today I'll talk with Todd Olson about how Pendo's customers use in-app messaging to provide tailored user experiences. This interview is part of my book about product-led sales. If you're wondering how to introduce PLG in your sales operation, then this book is for you. For more info, visit plgandsales.com. Now let me introduce Todd. He is the co-founder and CEO of Pendo, one of the leading providers of in-app messaging software, with 2,500 clients globally and a team of 750 people. He has founded two businesses before this, a data integration company called Cerebellum and a company called Sixth Sense Analytics that had a focus on product data. Sixth Sense Analytics was acquired by Rally Software, after which he served there as VP of Product. These experiences led him to create Pendo in 2013, with a vision to empower product teams and improve software product adoption. All right, hi Todd, great to have you.
Thanks for having me. So it's great to be here.
To set the stage for what we want to talk about today, can you give a brief overview of how companies are using Pendo today to grow their business?
Yeah, so look, Pendo is, we think of it like a platform to help drive usage and adoption of software. And it has a variety of components. It kind of starts with data and analytics. So we collect product analytics and sort of a collect everything fashion. You drop us in. We know kind of everything happening from what they're clicking on to user journeys, et cetera. Then we combine that with a broader set of capabilities. So using that data, you could use it to target users for in-app messaging. So we have a full in-app messaging platform, everything from kind of interstitials that interrupt the user to step-by-step guided tours to widgets in the corner, which help with self-service. And then we have a whole set of qualitative features, like asking people like what worked well, what features they want. So, and then, even most recently, sessions, which is watching people use your software, which we see for also people optimizing onboarding flows, like watching someone try to check out from your software and figuring out what they're clicking on and what they're looking at. It's a great way to look at growth. So that's kind of what we do. How people use us. Look, we support a broad range of customers. We work everyone from 4-person startups to, large enterprise organizations. I think we see folks use us a lot for what people would describe as PLG or product-led growth, and that's everything from providing some level of guidance and assistance when they're coming into a freemium product, to driving nudges in campaigns to essentially advertise areas of a product that maybe a user is not yet taking advantage of or using, which could either be for a conversion event and or just exposing someone to like expansion capabilities. To everything from, I think of self-service as another aspect of how people use us, which is a different type of growth, or maybe is more retention. But when someone gets stuck or isn't getting full value out of a software, like how does the software intercede almost to help nudge and help the users. And then lastly, I think the other thing that we may get into is PLG assist. I always think that being product led to spectrum, there's like full self-service, software does everything, humans aren't involved. But I see a lot of our companies and customers using us to either leveraging data or other means to help the users be more proactive and efficient. So for example, if I'm trying to drive a more efficient go-to-market, and I have, let's just use CS as an example. I have CSMs who have maybe a scale motion where they have hundreds of accounts. You're not going to call 100 accounts like every single week. You just can't. So but you can use signals from the product. You can use product data to help inform where you spend that time. And it could be everything from, wow, they're spending a lot of time in this new area. Maybe I should offer, see if they want to upgrade. Or it could be, they're not using this area of the product, like maybe I should, go save this customer by making sure they do that. But that's a way that I think this PLG assist is something pretty common I see in our customer base.
Yeah, you're touching on something very interesting there, which is combining the best of product-led growth with the human touch of a sales team or CS team. And you mentioned some examples, and big topic nowadays is efficient growth, right? So what are the things that you're really seeing working? Like if you go at some examples of what companies are doing.
Look, I think going at the very, and I'm going to just take create some simple abstractions so people think about it. Like if you're a company and you serve a broad set of the market, meaning you serve both small customers and big customers, I am seeing folks, in order to drive a more efficient go-to-market motion, look at kind of under a certain size, and it's different by company. We actually look at employee size. Some people look at revenue. Some look at spend. Trying to find a way to create much more automation around servicing those customers, both on the acquisition side as well as on the post-sale side. One company we work with, large enterprise customer, they do have big companies using large enterprise sales. They started using us as a way to almost as product-led sales engineering. So someone gets into a trial and they want to make sure within a trial, the prospects are, doing, let's say, 5 things. So they know that if they do these 5 things within a trial, they're more likely to convert to, close one business. So that's an area where using a set of organized guides, you can sort of like say, nudges. Someone logs in and say, welcome to ABC's trial, try this first, check. You did that. Try this second. Check. You did that. That's an awesome way to reduce the reliance on an SC by making sure people are seeing the product. And if you think about it, a decent part of the humans in our go-to-market's job is teaching people how to use the product, because people do want to try things before they buy it. And that is something that, frankly, is a commodity, teaching someone how to use something. So if we can find ways to like offload that from the humans, so the humans are being used more for maybe the value or the negotiations or the heavy differentiation from competitors or things like that, or I think that I'm seeing a lot of success with that.
Yeah, better onboarding or getting people started on the right use cases will, of course, translate into better retention later on, right?
Exactly.
If we look beyond that, you mentioned something in your initial comment already. There's also expansion. So there's different ways that contract can grow after someone's properly set up on your product. Can you talk a bit about how that can be done?
Yeah, look, there's a couple ways to think about expansion, and one is every product has sort of natural levers built in that's going to drive expansion. And for a lot of SaaS companies, the predominant measure, historically speaking, has been seats. Now, look, I know there's a lot of conversation around utility billing and other mechanisms, and actually, we're not a seat-based product. We price on monthly active usage, but generally speaking, these are like well-defined expansion levers. A seat costs this. For us, a monthly active user costs that. And as I hit certain thresholds, the product itself can start warning the customer, which, by the way, is a good experience. This isn't just a matter of, again, driving a more efficient go-to-market message. The last thing any customer wants is surprise. Like, surprise, we're not going to charge you more money. No, it's great when the product itself can start warning you. So like a lot of our customers will use our messages to start warning customers, hey, you're within 75% of your contracted seats. Start preparing, start thinking about it. And maybe it goes like a little yellow. So it sort of, again, warns the user that you could be getting to a point, but at least it's preparing them for this eventuality. And then, of course, as it expands and eventually gets to, hey, you're out of seats, it could be a very easy button to say, upgrade to this package, here's an offer, get it transacted immediately. And that's one level of expansion. The other level of expansion is net new functionality or capabilities. And we're seeing all sorts of cool stuff there, and we work with a lot of large companies. I think Citrix is one of our named reference customers, that heavy user of this. And if you think of Citrix's strategy, it was buy up a bunch of companies, mostly in the collaboration space, try to get cross-sell and upsell across all of them. And they have dedicated marketers to just do in-app marketing. This is, customers using our signature product. We want them to use our file sharing product. Let's drive them to use file sharing and describe what the benefits of having our file sharing combined with our signature product in the same platform. Very, very basic thing. And that could be everything from, again, just a message that says, hey, go try this. We'll unlock this functionality for 30 days while you try this. That's a great experience. Okay, let's go unlock that. The other thing that we've seen people do is have the menu items right there in the product for all the other things you can expand to. But when you click on it, it's kind of like a blank page or sort of a teaser page, or maybe a flyover that says, hey, this is locked. Would you like to unlock it? And that could either be, again, it could be fully self-serve where you can say, let me unlock this for 30 days and go try this. Or let me go talk to an account manager where we can learn about the value of this and then eventually go down more of a human-led path. So I think those are great ways to expose people to new capabilities. And I gave you a few software examples. We're seeing this with banks. I was talking with a very large bank recently who was onboarding new customers. And what they realized is if you just pull a customer into a simple checking savings account, that they aren't the stickiest of customers, versus if you started saying, hey, look at these rates on CDs. And you get them into a CD product, which of course has some sort of like lifespan to it, right? That locks you in to a stickier customer. And that's something that we see banks doing, which is super, super cool and fully PLG. And yeah, so there's a couple interesting examples.
It's interesting that PLG seems to then be reaching beyond software even at this point.
Absolutely.
And if we look beyond expansion, so like beyond what we just discussed, what are some of the more advanced implementations that you're seeing happening with the tooling that you have available?
Oh, geez.
And especially, sorry to add to that, especially when it involves a combination with customer-facing teams.
Yeah, I think some of the things that we're seeing is a combination of this is maybe it sounds a little more sophisticated, but like let's say we see signals happening within our product. We're seeing folks actually using our messaging on internal apps, things like Salesforce and other parts of the sales stack, to then go proactively talk to them, that they can go tell them about some behavior happening in the product that they need to go follow up on. So that's in-app messaging happening on both the internal facing applications and the customer facing applications, which
can you talk through an example of that? I'm not sure.
I'll use banking again because it's actually a pretty interesting one. So new customer joins a bank and the bank asks them, what do you care about? Debt consolidation, budgeting. Let's just say budgeting is what you really care about. And so that kind of flags the bank that, hey, you're really interested in a budgeting solution in addition to the rest of our capabilities. But then it tells a banker, a human that owns that geography or a human that can then go follow up in that banking app. So like that person's logging into their app, their CRM, they get a notification. Hey, Todd just signed up for this thing and he said he's interested in budgeting. Go reach out to Todd. And here's all the information that he plugged in about himself, which then would lead to a really positive human experience. Imagine some banker calling me and saying, yeah, I just noticed you do this and you're really interested in budget. Would you like to set up a consult with me to, you could do it online, but I'd be happy to do it personally. that's a great experience. Like someone proactively reaching out to me knows exactly what I want. There's like a little bit of demographic information about myself. That's the kind of stuff that I think is super, super interesting because in general, customers, people, we like personalized experiences. And the more personalized we can make it, the better, the greater chance of conversion, and honestly, the more pleasant it is. And that's the vein of thing we're seeing in general. And that's where like this combination of data and messaging is just so powerful. We've had some customers develop highly advanced onboarding flows, and you're asking the user, what do you care about? Oh, I care about, I don't know, ABC feature. And it takes you on a bespoke onboarding flow that shows you that part of the product and gets you involved in that use case. Or, it goes down a different path. Another derivation of that use case that I'm also seeing is we can look at website behavior. Oh, Todd was surfing these features on our website. Todd signs up for the product. And then it just immediately prompts me, hey, we noticed you were like surfing around our website looking at, trailers. Let me go show you the trailer part of our website. I think those are the kinds of things where it's just highly personalized and knows exactly what I'm looking for, what I want. That's ultimately a great experience. And I think the technology is starting to evolve to do that. And I think actually AI is going to play a really interesting part in that. Like over time, we have amazing signals in our data because we know when people perform a conversion event in a piece of software, and a conversion event could be obviously a free to paid conversion or trial to paid conversion. And we can start understanding the behavior that precedes it and start auto-suggesting, hey, we noticed that users, customers that have this sort of experience, automatically can, are more highly likely, 5 times more likely to convert from free to paid. So I think those are the kind of things that I'm very excited about. But I think there's a lot of advanced cases that are going to be powered by AI and machine learning that I think you're going to see later this year, potentially even next year.
Yeah, you're stepping a little bit into what I wanted to ask you next already. So I think the first part of what you covered there is what's happening today. But what's next? What opportunities should companies think about? You're mentioning AI, but how? Like what do you think can companies plan for later in the year?
I think right now there are growth marketers, growth PMs that spend a lot of time sifting through data. They spend a lot of time trying to formulate well-formed experiments to try to drive growth within their products. And look, there's smart people, and growth PMs are typically highly compensated, hard to find. But I think AI will start auto-suggesting campaigns, ideas, things that, frankly, the other folks just won't find because it's like highly inefficient to go through all of the data and looking for some of these signals. So usually what happens is a growth person will have a thesis. Oh, I believe that if I get people to do this, then it's going to drive higher outcomes. And they go get some data, they validate it, they run an experiment. Imagine if we have the data, because we've already proven it through machine learning. I think that's the kind of pieces that you're going to see a lot more of. And I think I think the cool piece will be we could come up with different campaigns based on different desired outcomes. Free to pay is one outcome. Another outcome is just retaining a user, retaining a customer. We can look at all the customers that stopped coming to our product, in the last 90 days. It's like 90-day retention. Let's use as a proxy for like them leaving us, and look at and compare all their behavior versus people that don't. And try to get a model of, these people that do this, go way back, are far less likely to churn than ones who do not. And then let's design our onboarding flows around it. Let's make sure that we get a list of people who haven't done that so we can go proactively reach to them. Like there's a lot of just automation we can drive. I mean, you still want humans to be checking it and validating it and looking at it, but I think we should be able to increase the pace and number of experiments dramatically, which should have an impact.
So AI-driven segmentation and then building user journeys based on that.
Full AI-driven campaigns potentially, yeah. I think. Look, people are already doing it and manually. I think we can drive a lot of automation, which again, it should augment the humans and allow them to experiment more, faster, with some more confidence in data.
Well, before we close off, I want to give the floor to you briefly as well. Like, is there anything you want to say to the audience, you want to share about Pendo specifically or anything else?
I mean, I think I said, I think nothing specific other than like, this is an exciting time. I think if the audience isn't thinking about ways they could use some level of product-led techniques, that there's a risk of getting left behind. I think in part because users, regardless if you're talking to a large company or a small company, you have to now meet users where they are. And what we see is people are using technology at odd times of the day. They're using it on weekends. So what that means, you can't rely necessarily 100% on human beings to be there to support, serve your users. You need to find other ways to augment that. And I think product-led techniques are a great one. So this is a great time. And, I think it's only getting more exciting with the advancement of AI and other technologies.
All right. Thanks so much for joining today, Todd.
Thanks, Vincent.
Okay, that's it for today. It's been great to hear about the different ways in-app messaging can provide a better customer experience. And amazing that companies like banks that don't even sell software are also starting to use PLG for go-to-market efficiency and personalized experiences. For more insights like this, check out my book about product-led sales on plgandsales.com. Thanks for listening and see you next time.